Welcome to Idlewild Cottage, a quiet place where kindred spirits can linger together over a cup of tea, savoring all things lovely and cozy. My name is Juliana, and I'm delighted to have you. Each episode here at the cottage will center around a theme. That theme will be celebrated in a number of ways through literature, art, nature, and even some favorite movie scenes. We'll cherish the sweet and simple things of life. So make yourself at home, and I'll put the kettle on. Spring fever is to blame for any number of hasty decisions. The feeling of restlessness that follows winter's chill and inactivity often prompts our literary friends to burst out of their shells just like tulips and daffodils, desperate for a change. That change is not infrequently directed to the human head. Specifically, our impulsive friends reach for the scissors, curling rods, or hair dye when longing for a new look. Now, many times the results are just as lovely and welcome as they hoped they would be. But sometimes regret is the stronger emotion. Throughout our time together today, we'll highlight some of the more humorous hair escapades, as well as a few of the lovely successes. Now, these scenes aren't necessarily all set in the spring, but I do hope you'll indulge me as we turn the pages toward these literary cuts, curls, and catastrophes. Betsy, Tacy, and Tib of Deep Valley didn't think they were being the least bit hasty or rash. In fact, their hair-cutting motives were quite pure and sweet. The 8-year-old girls were inspired to exchange locks of hair to remember each other by. Accordingly, they procure a pair of scissors and decide that little pillboxes will serve as ideal lockets. They took the scissors and punched holes in the pillboxes, and they ran string through them and tied them around each other's necks. They made lovely lockets. "Now," said Betsy, "it's time to cut off the hair." And she picked up the scissors. "Who'll cut it?" asked Tacy. "I think we should take turns because cutting hair will be fun." "That's right," said Betsy. "Well, I'll cut yours and you can cut Tib's, and Tib can cut mine." She walked around Tacy, looking at her hair and trying to decide where to begin. Tacy's hair, as usual, was dressed in ringlets. There were 10 long red ringlets, neat as sausages. "I'll begin with this one," said Betsy, and she lifted up a ringlet right next to Tacy's face. She cut it off close to the head. The shimmering long red ringlet looked beautiful on the grass. "I think I'll cut off another one," Betsy said, and she did. Well, the girls pass around those scissors and do their best to arrange and balance out the rather alarming collection of red ringlets, short yellow curls, and crinkly brown hair that eventually litter the grass. But to find out the rest of the story, I encourage you to pick up Betsy, Tacy, and Tib by Maud Hart Lovelace. Oh, and this scene, it's based on dear little Maud's actual experiences. As Betsy ages, we see that her hair continues to be a point of distraction. Things are looking up for our straight-haired heroine when the family hires Anna as housemaid. In Heavens to Betsy, we read, "Anna knew about all kinds of things like a cream that took off freckles in a week. She knew about metal curlers, magic wavers they were called, that produced a curl so tight and lasting it put kid rollers to shame. I'll find you some," she promised. Anna is as good as her word, and we soon read of Betsy's return to school. Betsy was awake at 6 o'clock. She hadn't slept well, for the magic wavers weren't as comfortable as the familiar kid rollers. They made a firm curl, though, and a dazzling entrance into high school was well worth any discomfort. The discomfort is far greater for one of our favorite literary heroines, a heroine with hair as red as carrots. It was dark when supper was ready and still no sign of Anne. Marilla went up to the east gable. Lighting the candle, she turned around to see Anne herself lying on the bed, face downward among the pillows. "Mercy on us," said astonished Marilla. "Have you been asleep, Anne?" "No," was the muffled reply. "Are you sick, then?" demanded Marilla anxiously. Anne cowered deeper into her pillows as if desirous of hiding herself forever from mortal eyes. "No, but please, Marilla, go away and don't look at me. I'm in the depths of despair." "Anne Shirley, whatever is the matter with you? What have you done? Get up this minute." Anne slid to the floor. "Look at my hair, Marilla," she whispered. Accordingly, Marilla lifted her candle and looked at Anne's hair, flowing in heavy masses down her back. "Anne Shirley, what have you done to your hair? Why, it's green." "Yes, it's green," moaned Anne. "I thought nothing could be as bad as red hair, but now I know it's 10 times worse to have green hair. Oh, Marilla, you little know how utterly wretched I am." "I little know how you got into this fix, but I mean to find out. Now then, what did you do to your hair?" "I dyed it." "Dyed it? Dyed your hair? Anne Shirley, didn't you know it was a wicked thing to do?" "Yes, I knew it was a little wicked," admitted Anne, "but I thought it was worthwhile to be a little wicked to get rid of red hair. I counted the cost, Marilla." Anne Shirley isn't the only one to suffer the humiliations of green hair. Little House television fans may recall the episode in which Pa unwittingly walks into a trap set by Laura and her pal Andy Garvey. The duo have been trying to solve the mystery of who has been swiping food from various Walnut Grove homes. They are sure the good old bucket of paint above the door trick will catch the thief. Unfortunately for Pa, the trap works too soon and too well. The green paint proves to be impossible to wash out, and Pa's humiliation reaches a climax when he joins his family in church the following Sunday. The Reverend Alden tries his best to remain composed as he addresses his congregation. The subject for today's sermon, which I selected several days ago, is based on the 23rd Psalm. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures." As the congregation erupts with laughter, Charles hightails it for home. Of course, many Little House adventures and much more happily. In her book Little Town on the Prairie, Laura Ingalls Wilder recalls in vivid detail the momentous occasion when she cuts bangs before attending the town sociable. Standing before the looking glass in the front room, Laura carefully brushed and braided her hair and put it up and took it down again. She could not arrange her hair to suit her. "Oh, Ma, I do wish you would let me cut bangs," she almost begged. "Mary Powers wears them, and they are so stylish." "Your hair looks nice the way it is," said Ma. "Mary Powers is a nice girl, but I think the new hairstyle is well called a lunatic fringe." With a little coaxing, Ma finally consents. Laura took the shears from Ma's workbasket and, standing before the glass, she cut the hair above her forehead into a narrow fringe about 2 inches long. She laid her long slate pencil on the heater, and when it was heated, she held it by the cool end and wound wisps of the short hair around the heated end. Holding each wisp tightly around the pencil, she curled all the bangs. "Turn around and let me see you," Ma said. Laura turned. "Do you like it, Ma?" "It looks quite nice," Ma admitted. "Turn this way and let me see it," said Pa. He looked at her a long minute, and his eyes were pleased. "Well, if you must wear this lunatic fringe, I think you've made a good job of it." The March girls know the thrill of preparing for a party, too, and how convenient it is to have a willing sister when it comes to hairdressing, unless that sister happens to be Jo. There was a great deal of running up and down, laughing and talking, and at one time a strong smell of burnt hair pervaded the house. Meg wanted a few curls about her face, and Jo undertook to pinch the papered locks with a pair of hot tongs. "Ought they to smoke like that?" asked Beth. "It's the dampness drying," replied Jo. "What a queer smell! It's like burnt feathers," observed Amy, smoothing her own pretty curls with a superior air. "There, now I'll take off the papers and you'll see a cloud of little ringlets," said Jo. She did take off the papers, but no cloud of ringlets appeared, for the hair came off with the papers, and the horrified hairdresser laid a row of little scorched bundles on the bureau before her victim. We find a more successful hairdresser in the sweet and eager Pollyanna Whittier, who has the ability to charm and persuade even her strict Aunt Polly to a little bit of pampering. "Aunt Polly, you will let me do your hair, won't you?" Aunt Polly put her hand to her throat. The old helpless feeling was upon her, she knew. Pollyanna began to dance up and down lightly on her toes. "You didn't say I couldn't do your hair," she crowed triumphantly. "But Pollyanna, Pollyanna," pleaded Aunt Polly. To her helpless amazement, she suddenly found herself in the low chair before the dressing table, with her hair tumbling about her ears under 10 eager but very gentle fingers. "Oh my, what pretty hair you've got," prattled Pollyanna. "I reckon folks'll be glad when they do see it, and surprised, too, 'cause you've hid it so long." After a few minutes of prattling and primping, Pollyanna announces, "Now your hair is almost done, and I'm going to leave you just a minute. You must promise not to peek till I come back," she finished as she ran from the room. Aloud, Miss Polly said nothing. To herself, she said that she should at once undo the absurd work of her niece's fingers and put her hair up properly again. At that moment, Miss Polly caught a glimpse of herself in the mirror, and what she saw sent a flush of rosy color to her cheeks. She saw a face, not young, it is true, but just now alight with excitement and surprise. The hair, dark and still damp from the outdoor air, lay in loose waves about the forehead and curved back over the ears in wonderfully becoming lines with softening little curls here and there. So amazed and so absorbed was Miss Polly that she quite forgot her determination to do over her hair. Now, if Aunt Polly were to follow the hair care routine prescribed by Laura Ingalls Wilder, given in her April 1914 article, The Home Beauty Parlor, just imagine how her lovely long locks would flourish. The hair should be not washed too often, for this will cause it to fall. Still, the scalp should be kept clean. Wearing a little dust cap over the hair while doing the work will help greatly in this, and such frequent washings will not be necessary. When washing the hair, it is best to dissolve the soap in a little water, making a soft soap. Rub this into the hair with water until it lathers well, then wash it off. Repeat if necessary. When the hair is clean, rinse it well with clear, warm water until the soap is all out. Then pour some cold water over the scalp to close the pores of the skin. This will prevent taking cold and also act as a tonic to the scalp. The addition of a little baking soda to the water will lighten the hair and help make it fluffy. A tea made from common garden sage will darken the hair and help it grow. This reminds me of the numerous hair-related adventures my sister and I shared over the years. We permed, trimmed, crimped, rolled, and ratted our hair with the devotion of true teens, and once we even convinced ourselves that soaking our hair had worked wonders. I soaked my hair in red wine vinegar, and my sister chose lemon juice. With heads upside down dipped in large Tupperware bowls, we assured each other that the red highlights and blonde sheen, respectively, made all the difference to our youthful glow. Well, friends, you make all the difference in each episode here at Idlewild Cottage. It's a joy and encouragement when you reach out with your comments, likes, and 5-star reviews. Today, I'd like to thank Carla, who shares that these episodes bring peace on her commute home from work. The soothing content provides the grace and loveliness needed for that transition, and the episodes are just the right length to bring her home. Thank you so much, Carla. In closing, you just might be anticipating today's Bible passage. I'm going to again stray from the Psalms and this time turn to the book of Luke, where Jesus comforts his disciples. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 pennies? And not one of them is forgotten before God. Why, even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, you are of more value than many sparrows. May you know and delight in your precious value today, kindred spirits. You are loved, you are seen, you are treasured. Thank you for joining me today, dear ones. Please come again soon to Idlewild Cottage.